Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining the headliners. My name is Edward Mbeche. I'm the CEO and founder of Helen Technology. And today I have my guest, Kate Fink, who's the CEO and founder of Mind, Body, Soul Market. Hey, Kate, how are you?
I'm good, Ed. How are you doing today? Thank
Good,
you
good.
for having me on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to kind of chat with me. Maybe I should, instead of say Kate, I should say Katie, right?
Katie. Katie's good.
Katie, yeah, I know. It's like because it's already kind of short. You know how like so they will say that Katie or Kate. So Katie was, this is there already. How are you?
Perfect.
How you been?
I've been awesome. It's
Uh-huh.
been a great summer. I've been getting in some good travel, which has been lovely. How about
That's
you?
good.
How's your summer been?
Oh, busy, just working, just working. And I know you've been traveling around. Where did you go for the summer?
Hmm. Let's see. I was in the UK in July. I was traveling with some priestesses while I was
Hmm.
there, which was a really magical and mystical time. And then actually on Friday, I leave for the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
I'm meeting up with my mastermind. I'm part of a female mastermind called Feely.
Okay.
And we are gathering in the DR for a couple days together, which I'm really excited about.
When you say priestesses, what is?
Priestesses.
Are you talking about like a priest, like a normal priest, but is a group of priests? Is that is
Yeah, so all women who are practicing priestesses,
okay?
primarily on this retreat, we're anointing priestesses.
Okay.
So they are really focused on using oils and their energy for healing
Fulfilling.
and
Yep.
ritual, which is really beautiful. It was a
Oh,
great community to be a part of.
that's so awesome. That's why you look so relaxed, kind of like.
Oh, yes, I am
That's
relaxed.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe before we jump in a little bit deeper, can you, if you don't mind, let's give like a little bit history of like yourself, like who's Katie Fink? Like let's
Mm.
go back like to maybe where you grew up, or like did you have like a good childhood? Did you some good memory when you were a kid, and from there to teenage and to just being a grown person?
Hmm. This is great because I'm actually just writing a chapter in a book right now
Yep.
about turning point stories. And in this chapter, I've been recounting aspects of my life and really what led me to finding, and not just finding, but really following my inner voice.
Mhm.
And so it's been kind of a walk past, walk through the past over the past few weeks as I've been writing. It's a
Yeah,
good timing for this question.
that's good.
So I did. I had a great childhood. I grew up in a loving family and um, had the great privilege of education in my life. And um, my path started out quite smoothly.
Yeah.
I graduated college. I got a great job in corporate America, working for a Fortune 100 retailer.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for about almost 2 decades and really grew and became who I am today in my time there. I learned a lot in the corporate environment. I learned how to execute, which is so important,
Yeah.
especially now on my entrepreneurial journey, to have that skill set. And I would say one turning point for me was after completing my MBA at Babson. I really wanted to start my own business. That was probably about 2009 or so.
Mhm.
And I actually won some money in a competition at Babson to get started. And I was all jazzed up, had this great plan.
Mhm.
And at that time, I was also invited to go to Dusseldorf, Germany with the company I was working for as we were starting up stores in Germany and Poland. And it was at a crossroads moment where you decide one dream or another.
Yeah.
And I went for the international experience. And that was really where my corporate entrepreneurship journey started. And I was able to, from that point forward, really gravitate it towards the startups within the corporate environment. And
Okay.
that helped prepare me for today, actually
That's awesome.
running my own startup, which has been definitely a spiritual journey
Yeah.
in so many lessons.
So when you won the money for like for you to start up your own, but you decide to go for this opportunity,
Yeah.
did did the money have any attachment to it? Like where if you don't start, you're gonna have to give the money back, or they're like, hey, well, you can take the money and start whenever you're ready.
No, you could take it and start whenever you're ready. So
Okay.
I'm now using that money to start the current business that I run, which has been beautiful. Just,
Awesome.
a
You
decade later.
yeah, that's so awesome. You didn't mention about the like what where did you grow up?
Hmm. So I was born in Pennsylvania and lived in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania as a kid. And then when I was in grade school, we moved up to the Boston area.
Okay.
And
Well,
I've been rooted here pretty much ever since.
okay. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and you're back again in. I mean, like right now, so you're kind of traveling around, but you're back in Pennsylvania. You saying?
I'm back in the Boston area now.
Okay, Boston.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know Boston. I've been to Boston, and we're in Pennsylvania. I'm trying to compare.
Um, okay. So I lived in Ambler and Broomall, were the
Uh,
two main areas. Yeah. Do you know them?
yeah, I know, but it's like so by passing, but it's like normally people when they hear about Pennsylvania, you think about Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. Those are
Right.
the those are
Yeah.
the only popular thing. Okay. Um. So let's go back. You got out of school. You stopped intern from. I think you did some intern. Was it Staples, and then was your thing kind of to the White House? And can you go into that kind of? How did
Yeah.
that end up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for any people in that intern phase of life, I
Hmm.
highly recommend internships because you can learn a lot about what you do want to do and what you don't want to do. And at that time in my life, I thought perhaps politics might be something I'd be interested in. But through some experiences, working at the White House and working for the governor of Massachusetts, I learned that politics really wasn't my jam. And I
Yeah.
really learned. I think what was I'll share an interesting story. So I worked for the Economic Council at the White House. Every morning, as an intern, I would have to go and clip out the newspaper clippings that mentioned the National Economic Council, anyone that I worked with, and I would compile them all. And at the time, I would paste them onto pieces of paper, photocopy of them, and make a packet for everybody right when they walked in the door so they could quickly read through all these articles. And I guess that shows my age a little bit. Anyway, what I was so fascinated by at that time was the articles really didn't tell the story of what I was seeing and experiencing in my day to day.
Yeah.
And it was the first time in my life where I started to really question what I was reading and how truthful it really was. And that experience taught me to be more inquiring about looking at things from multiple viewpoints and reading various sources of information because I saw how much information was twisted and changed. And it was really a very formative experience in my life.
Was this like is it part of the media manipulating the truth or and also politics? Like there's this relationship is like
Totally.
I always feel like uh there's a thin line like between selling your soul and becoming a politician. It's like just
I think
something.
so too.
something. So I guess that was one of the things you're like, hey, I don't want to take this path because of the misinformation and this. So it does not connect, and it kind of you're like,
Totally.
no, I gotta get up.
Yes, and I felt really clear through that experience that that was not the right path for me.
Yeah.
And similarly, I did a great internship with Staples in finance and learned through that experience that straight up finance wasn't exactly gonna light my soul on fire either. And so through internships, we can learn a lot. And when you're young, it's a great time of life to just explore. That's what you're supposed to be doing in your teens and 20s. If you have that ability to try new things,
Mhm.
it's a great time in life to figure out who you want to be and what path you want to follow.
Yeah, yeah. And so then I look into your experience with this big the TJX company, right?
Yeah.
And you went you are at that company for a while, and I saw the
Yeah.
position that you went in. I was like, whoa, there's this position too in this company, like where you from being a location analyst, senior allocation analyst, associate planner, planning manager. Can we jump in there, maybe kind of talk a little bit the experience that you're able to
Yeah, I was fortunate to work for an organization that had great training programs and really multiple paths to grow in the organization. I took a more standard path early in my career. And then I really, through the later years, started to explore various areas. And for me, that path worked really well. I got to lead many different functions in my time there and learn a tremendous amount, work with incredible people, and also come to a stage where that journey, it was time for that journey to be complete.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you held also a bias position there, right?
Mhm.
And I have two friends who are into fashion. Either they are struggling trying to get their merchandise into
Mm.
into store, big store. Like, what experience as a buyer did you get there? Just interacting with people with their own like independent designer, and maybe what would you tell them if they are trying to reach to a company like that in terms
Mm.
of just kind of getting their product into the store?
Great question. I would say be persistent above all else is start to just develop a relationship. So much of all of our businesses are built on relationships.
Oh,
It's
mhm,
not getting clothing indoors,
mhm,
but it's starting to get to know the person that will eventually buy your product.
mhm,
That can be a great starting point is just ask to meet up, have a cup of coffee, do a Zoom call and start to form a relationship, and that can eventually lead to bigger
mhm.
decisions down the road.
Did you respond when people reached out to you? I know before it was
Oh,
easy.
hold on,
Maybe
Ed.
you
I
can
can't
kind
hear
of.
you for a sec.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me okay
Just
now?
see what's happening here.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's weird. I can hear you,
It's a
but yeah, that's
mystery.
the thing with technology. It's kind of in and
Can
out,
you
in
hear
and out.
me?
Yep, I can hear you,
Hmm.
but you cannot hear me, right? Um, Sorry,
So
guys. If you can
strange.
give us
I was
just a
hearing you
minute.
wonderfully, and then
Yeah, yeah. Um,
not at all.
um, can you hear me?
No,
No.
I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Let's see. For
No,
some
if
reason,
it,
hmm, I don't know what's going on.
if anything clicked off on your side.
It's my side is good.
Okay,
Do you,
I'll give you a minute.
so maybe we're gonna try one thing. If it's
Sure.
doing that. Um,
Okay.
so maybe we're gonna have like Katie kind of log off and log back in, and probably that will hopefully that will solve the problem. For some reason, like they, I guess through live streaming with the internet and kind of just problem that we getting to.
Oh,
Can
beautiful.
you can hear me okay now?
I can hear you fine now.
Okay, perfect,
Who
perfect.
knows? Who knows?
Welcome back. I know people probably if they did not hear, they just saw you. You just disappeared. They're like, "What happened?"
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
well, we
That's
can't even blame Mercury in retrograde, so who knows? It's a
yeah,
mystery.
yeah, yeah. So we are talking about like a buyer experience of the people. Like
Yes.
maybe just kind of get information. If someone is a designer trying to get to this, you said persistence, trying to reach out to buyers. But how do you like before it was easy? You can kind of maybe look maybe on a yellow page or somehow you end up finding them. How in this age, modern age or whatever, so is it possible to find out the person maybe through the internet, or how can a person go by finding who's the buyer for that for a look for it?
Sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely. There's many ways. You can call up on the phone. You can ask for, who's buying this or that. You can look on LinkedIn. Most companies, I find, follow a pretty standard email protocol. So if you can get somebody's name who you know is a buyer, then you could, just figure out what the standard protocol is for the email addresses of that company. And sometimes you just have to be persistent. You reach out to a lot of people, and over the years, so many people reached out, and I wasn't always the right person for them to talk to, but I
Mhm.
was able to connect them with somebody who would be the right person. And I think generally, if you reach out in a warm way, people are willing to connect.
Okay, okay, that's good. So now let's jump into mind, body, soul marketplace.
Oh,
What is that? Can you give us just a little bit of introduction to that?
absolutely. So, Mind Body Soul Marketplace is a place where you can land and be greeted with the right products, classes, and services from our collaborative vendor community
Mhm.
to support you on your wellness and your spiritual journey. So, if you're feeling a little lost or you just need some direction in life, you're looking for more joy, you just feel like there's something bigger you are meant to do,
Yeah.
for me, there's so many paths in on your own journey, and each path is unique to the individual.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to create a space where there were many paths. So if feng shui lights you up, or human design, or maybe it's through your children. We have some great kids' affirmations that go into the subconscious mind to build self esteem, or through a modern marriage class. There's lots of paths that can support you. Maybe it's a health coach, or who knows.
Yeah.
Um, but there's really just been beautiful to build this community. It's very collaborative, it's fun, it's joyful, it's great human beings that we're working with to build the marketplace, and excited for the journey of what's to come. We have big plans for the future, and um, really excited to start to burst some of those into the world.
Yeah. So with the marketplace, um, so meaning everyone is welcome to join the platform, the marketplace, right? So are you talking about like holistic type, or are you talking about like someone might say, hey, I have, if it's soul, mind, body, and soul, right? So is this also someone can be like, hey, I teach yoga meditation. I teach, is it some of that, or I teach more like just what is exactly who can join in that as the people who provide the service, who can join that marketplace?
Yeah, it's really quite a wide span, and we have individuals who support more the mind, some that support more the body, and some that support more the soul. Some are quite integrated. So anything, it could be somebody who does yoga, it could be somebody who does money mindset coaching, it could be somebody who um, is more focused on weightlifting. It could really, there's quite a span of our providers, and they're
Yeah.
growing all the time.
Mhm. So this is more of a um like more of a personal, not like someone. So because I'm thinking someone might mistake and be like, hey, I have a franchise of gyms. I don't want to register in this market. So it's more like more of a personal that you're gonna be dealing with the individual kind of someone with a session. Maybe say I have a group of 10 that people can come together. So it's not more like, hey, it's a YMCA. You come, not necessarily the YMCA, but I'm just like a big gym or like one of those uh, I can't remember the name of the fit CrossFit kind of type.
Mhm.
So can that, or is more like just geared that, hey, I have a small place here, or maybe it's through Zoom, something like that.
Yes, today everything's conducted in an online format. Over time, I hope that we'll be able to grow into some more physical experiences as well, but all the classes and services are conducted online. We're
Okay.
actually going to be launching this fall our own series called Awaken the Divine. And really, for people who are just starting to explore in their journey and might not know exactly what direction to go, we're creating this series with our vendor community and weaving together various classes that will support people early in their journey, just to try and figure out, okay, I really resonate with this person and this teaching, or okay, I've learned how to unlock something within myself that I want to grow. So, really, anything that's going to support you on a growth journey
Yeah.
is what we're attracting in.
So how are you acquiring these people to join the platform?
Mhm.
Are you like
Great
just kind of
question.
marketing? You're doing kind of, and then this platform like worldwide, or is this just kind of uh, US based only?
Yeah, I would say it's heavily US based to start.
Mhm.
Great question. We have, it really started as me tapping into my own network of people who have helped me on my growth journey. And then it sort of blossomed from there as they shared with their networks. And we've grown our vendor community in a very organic fashion, and really word of mouth. We haven't done any official marketing yet. We haven't even sent out an email yet. That's how new we are. And I just hired a digital marketing agency. So we will be starting our marketing efforts and sharing more about the mission and what we're trying to accomplish, and help lots and lots of people grow and expand and awaken the divine within themselves.
Okay, okay. For let's talk a little bit about. I know you had this wonderful job, right? And you had for years with the TJX, right? The huge corporation. What was like, if maybe if to kind of just kind of help someone, maybe someone is still kind of hanging on in their job. They're
Mm,
thinking about like, hey, I have this job, it pays so much. I've been thinking about
yeah.
just kind of leaving and start my own. What was a trigger? Was this something maybe you went through, like saying maybe for years it was back of your mind, like, hey, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna. Of course,
Mm,
like we're still remembering about the money you won, that you
yes.
won years ago. So probably it was for you. It started a long time ago. But what
Mm.
was it that it triggered to be like, okay, this is time for me to leave, so I can start my own? And what would you suggest for people that they are thinking about starting their own, and maybe kind of give that like a little bit to explain like what triggered to be like, okay, it's time for me to leave, and also go into what comes with that. Like, because
Mhm.
it's not just as soon you leave, it's not gonna be like, oh yeah, everything is good. So yeah.
Yes. Oh, these are all really good questions.
Mhm.
And for me, it was, it definitely didn't happen overnight. There were little pings I was getting over time
Yeah.
that felt out of alignment for me. And often I was balancing between choosing my integrity and acceptance.
Yeah.
Um, Somebody had shared with me, sometimes in big organizations, you need to fit in the box. And as you grow, the box gets smaller, and the box gets smaller, and the box gets smaller. And I found it increasingly hard to fit myself into the required box.
Yeah.
And certainly with strong cultures, there comes, some boxes.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of lurking in the background, this sort of integrity over acceptance. And I read a great book before I made the leap. It was actually called The Big Leap. It's by Gay Hendricks, and I feel like I should be doing some marketing for him. I've told so many people about this book. I'm going to have to meet him someday because his book
Be like,
really was
tell him
many
to
books, but
tell him to pay you a commission for promoting his book.
I know I'm going to have to talk to him.
Yeah.
But it's really a great book. And in the book, he talks about your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. And your zone of excellence is where you're comfortable. You make good money, you're successful, people are happy with you there. And it's really good. It's just not your zone of genius. Your zone of genius is really living out your purpose. And for me, I was turning 40, and it just became clearer that um, as as my life progressed, I wanted to do something with more purpose and
Yeah.
impact more lives
Yeah.
and touch people in a way that I couldn't in a corporate environment. And I have a deep amount of gratitude for the experiences that I gained in corporate America, and also know that it was my time to take the big leap. And it's uncomfortable. It's really hard to
Yeah.
give up the security and the comfort and the stock options and the executive savings plan and all the things, the health insurance. It's truly uncomfortable to do that, but there is a freeness on the other side that I have found and really embraced.
Yeah.
And as a mom, I'm able to have more flow to my days. I'm able to, tie dye some t-shirts with my kids in the morning and do a podcast with you later in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And that for me is truly living.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's finding the purpose for your life, not just kind of just grinding. Like I can completely understand.
Yeah,
As
you
yeah,
made a big leap too. Will
yeah.
you tell me a little bit about your big leap?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So let's talk about the the experience once you so when you started the marketplace for mind, body, and soul. Did you start it while you're still working, or did you just stop working and just started it? How did you transition into that?
Yeah, yes. So I worked on it pretty much the weekends and some nights, building up the website. And then now that I have stopped working in corporate America for about 2 months now, I have been full time in the marketplace. And it's been really, it deserves a full-time CEO is what I'm finding. There's so much that we're doing. We're going to be launching a clothing line later this year, which I'm able to weave some of my goddess mystical loves in with my retail background, which I'm so excited about. We're doing a collaborative oracle deck with some members of our community, and just starting to get the word out more, speaking at events. I'm speaking at a big wellness event in LA coming up. So much expansive opportunities that have come forward once I made that big leap.
So, do you think if someone is leaving like a corporate America job, should they lean in towards what they have, the background of that, or more like of a pipe? Because, like, look at it this, like when we left college, a lot of people that left college, uh, also me, where we started something and then we worked on something way different than what we took we majored
Yeah.
in, right? So when someone is leaving, like when you left, you have this experience of the retail. Should someone, if they are leaving a corporate, should they lean toward what experience they have, or toward something that they have a passion for, and just kind of maybe apply a little bit of um, whatever they have experienced from the corporate America?
That's a great question. I would say everyone's situation is so unique in terms of what their threshold for risk tolerance is. And, what I think, if you can get clear on your core values before making a big leap, that's really helpful. So if one of your core values is security, that's something to consider. Maybe if one of your core values is freedom, maybe that's something that gives you more comfort in being in that unknown space. But getting clear on like who you are, what are maybe your top 5 core values, I think that is a great way to get clear on, what is my risk tolerance really going to be? And that can help you figure out the right path. Is, do I want to make a really big leap? Do I want to make a gradual leap? What type of leap am I making? And I would encourage anyone to really think about what lights you up and what you're passionate about, so that your work never feels like work. That's how I feel right now. Is I'm passionate about leading this mystical lifestyle, and now I get to build a business around that serves a beautiful community. Yeah. And gives back every day in amazing ways. So for me, I would lean towards purpose over anything else, but know your risk tolerance.
Yeah. So what would you suggest to someone? Because, like, let's say there's always a market fit too, right? So you leave this good job, you start something, but it does not, that you find out like people don't like that. Like, let's say,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you start the business, you're like, oh, this is perfect because it's in your head, or maybe you know a few people, you're like, oh, this, like, because not everybody is lucky to start something and become, get picked up by the market, or so what happened if someone say, hey, you jump in, you're like 100% in, but the market is like, yeah, no, it's only like you got only 4 people like this. How do you deal with that? What would you suggest people to do? Would they have to go back again to corporate America or do they keep persisting, kind of pushing, which is scary because this thing is stressful. It has the joy of it, like where you're like, hey, this a lot. I'm doing something, I love it. So it's kind of keep pushing you, kind of going. But at the same time, it's very stressful. What would you suggest for someone to do? Like if the marketplace doesn't pick it up?
Yeah, I would say for me, what I'm leaning on is a skill set I developed in my corporate life is fail fast and pivot. So never build, especially if you're building technology. I think you and I have talked about this in the past, perhaps, is if you're building tech, you don't need to build the Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
Build like something that works, that drives, that you can get down the road with, and then listen to your customer. Your customer will tell you, okay, I want this, I want that, I really like that, and then tweak as you go. And I really live by this in the business that I'm building, is I never want to overly invest until I'm super clear that that's really what my customer wants long term. And certainly we've had some super interesting learnings in the start of the marketplace. Actually, a lot of our customers have gravitated more towards products than the classes and services, which for me, the classes and services are really the expansive part of the marketplace. But what I learned through talking to our customers is products are a gateway for many of them. So maybe it's buying a crystal is something tangible and understandable, but maybe taking a class in crystalline DNA is like, whoa, what is that? Not ready for that quite yet. So for me, that was a great early learning. And part of why in this next chapter that we're going to launch in the fall is we're doing some product boxes that really can just help you start with a morning ritual in your life. And then we'll also couple that with a short class series so that customers can start to get to know the different collaborators on the site. But for me, that was just one of those experiences is, you just have to go with the flow of the business and not try to overly orchestrate something until you're really clear on what your customers want.
So fail fast, pivot, just be ready to pivot in, I think.
Yeah. I think when you're growing, and resilience. You need a lot of resilience and willingness to fail. Failing can be a real gift because it shows us a new way forward.
Yeah. So with this, what would you suggest for someone who's like, let's say they want to start, but they still want to hold on to their job as they're starting slowly, like, because like you said, don't build the whole thing, spend so much money, but you want to just build maybe slowly while you're still holding on to your job, which is supporting. But at the same time, actually, we're in almost like a perfect timing now, because we have this hybrid, or like where people just work full time from home, and maybe people work half time in the office and half time. So if, let's say, if you were to start your own company, but at the same time, this social media exposes so much stuff, right? So you want to start your stuff, you want to start your small business, but at the same time, you don't want to promote online because you don't want your company to see like, hey, wait, what are you doing? Like, are you spending our time that we are paying? You work at home. Are you spending your time on just doing your own stuff? What would you suggest for someone like that? Because sometimes I know it's really scary for someone to just leave their job and just kind of, they want to start slowly. What would you suggest to do without actually exposing it online, where your coworker be like, hey, boss, she's doing this or he's doing this?
Yeah. So I think there's different approaches. I can share the approach that I took. And for me, what was most important is it had to feel authentic, and I had to feel that I was in my integrity with what I was doing. So I took an approach of speaking with our head of risk and compliance and saying, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm keeping it super clean. These are the times I'm working on it. It has no interference with my day job. And I want to be above board with it. I want to be transparent in how I'm approaching it. And in the building of the business, that worked really well because I was able to keep it really clean and work on it on the weekends and at night and candidly, my day job was a big job, and it took all my time during the
Yeah.
day. So there really wasn't a capacity to weave in a side hustle during the day. But then the running of the business was a shift. So that was a new stage. And especially when it came to sharing my voice, that was not something I was very comfortable doing while being in my corporate environment. Now I feel I'm able to share my voice more freely, more authentically, and had to, when I was in corporate, turn down some really great early opportunities just because I felt it was in conflict. So the third part I will add is I think companies really need to shift their mindset around this too.
Yeah.
Most people have multiple things going on. I would say many of the people I worked with that were of younger generations have multiple side hustles. Maybe some of my older colleagues had more of a traditional path, but it's really shifting, and people want to not live to work, but really work to live, so that they can have these expansive lives and travel to interesting places. Maybe they want to have a travel blog, or they want to teach spin classes on the side. So I do think companies in corporate America need to start shifting their mindset and
Yeah.
getting comfortable as the newer generations are emerging and wanting to be multi-passionate and live out their dreams.
You just reminded me for a company I worked for, which was a horrible company. I
Oh,
remember like one week we had a holiday. So I used to have a day off like Wednesday and Thursday, but one week we had a holiday in one of those days, like a Thursday. So we closed the place. So we did not come on Thursday, and then we came back on Friday. So the next week that I'm supposed to be off on Wednesday and Thursday, they're like, "Hey, you remember last week it was a holiday. You did not come to work. Yeah, we closed. Yeah, you're gonna have to work this Thursday." And I'm like, that I was tired with the job. From that, it
hmm.
just kind of pushed me off the edge. I was like, you know what, this is time for me to leave. And I left that.
Yeah. And whenever
Yeah,
you're going to make a leap, you got to have a plan too.
yeah,
You squirrel away savings, make sure that you have a plan. You could pick something up to support you. As long as you have a plan or a sketch
yeah,
of a plan, it will really help bring more comfort.
yeah. For so with this extensive experience in retail industry,
Hmm.
if and I know you're open to board of advisor or being a
Yeah.
board, would you, if someone approaches you, they have a fashion line or they are starting something, would you be comfortable to be on their board because you want to give them the advice about with this retail kind of experience you have, or you're like, hey, I'm staying away from retail. I don't want to touch that. Just want to go from. Are you open to that or not?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, retail will always hold a special place in my heart. It's where I grew up, and it's something I love and I'm passionate about. And at this stage, if somebody approached me that was starting a business or retail line, certainly I would love to have a conversation with them.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And
Katie,
maybe there are products we could sell on Mind Body Soul Market. We'll be
there you
getting
go.
more into clothing
Yeah.
because our customers are asking for more clothing and jewelry, and the products are really something they're gravitating towards right now.
Are you okay with the, like, let's say a brand is already established? Do you want to do like in the marketplace? Do you want to do exclusivity, or you don't care even if they sell their product on Amazon or whatever? This you want to do just for like maybe small kind
Um,
of.
we have some and some. I mean, most of our brands are pretty small today.
Okay.
They're mostly entrepreneurs
Mhm.
who have their businesses and, aren't in a tremendous amount of doors. But we'll see over time as that evolves. We have some people we're doing exclusives with. Actually, this jewelry designer,
Yes.
he doesn't want to have all of his designs splashed about the internet.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do an exclusive with him, which is really exciting. That's in the work. So, there's just all different ways to partner and collaborate. And I really feel that we are in an era of collaboration and so excited about it's more fun, when you get to work with interesting people doing interesting projects and birthing new creations into the world.
Okay. With this, is this marketplace transaction are done directly in there, or is it more like just a connection to go to the vendor or the owner of the?
Sure.
Mhm.
So most of our products you would transact on our website and then our vendors would fulfill those orders.
Okay.
We do have a small section of the site that's our trusted friends
Mhm.
section, which operates under an affiliate model. And in that case, you link out. And that's really for collaborators that aren't easy for us to sell because perhaps they sell a product like CBD that's a little bit more difficult with the payment providers, or they're internationally based, or they're just too big for us.
Yeah.
So those are really the three reasons that I wanted to start the affiliate program, to service some really interesting people that were coming into our world but didn't quite fit the traditional model.
So are these people you just charging them like subscription fees to be on your platform, or is it like you just?
No, there's no fees to be on the platform. It's a commission-based model, so we take a commission off of the sale, and that's what we'll use to reinvest in growing the business, building out marketing.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this, like let's CBD. If you're sending the people outside the marketplace, and how do you end up getting commission from that? That's what I was kind of like.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. It follows. So if they click, they're different models, but if they click um, through and transact on their website, we're able to track that sale and earn a commission based on that. We utilize three different affiliate networks,
Mhm.
and the vendors that want to partner in that way go through one of the networks.
Katie, thank you so much
Oh,
for being
thank
here
you,
and just
Ed.
taking your time. Katie Fink, founder, CEO, Mind, Body, and Soul. Maybe in short, do you want to summarize, just if someone missed it, like, do you want to
Hmm.
summarize what is the marketplace, Mind, Body, and Soul?
Great. We're a
Mhm.
marketplace of products, classes, and services, all to support you on your wellness and spiritual journeys. And please
Great.
come check us out. If you have questions, send
Yeah.
us a direct message on LinkedIn or Instagram, and we'll be sure to follow up too.
Probably is only one Katie Fink. I don't know on LinkedIn. If you search Katie Fink, probably is the only person. And then of course you can look for Mind, Body, and Soul
Thank
marketplace.
you.
Thank you so much, Katie, again for taking the time to chat with
Oh
me.
my gosh.
I
It was
really
a delight,
appreciate
Ed. It's so good to see your smile. And I hope you
it.
have a wonderful rest of your summer. I'm sending so much beautiful energy
I need
to the amazing business that you're building.
thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Just
thank
give me
you.
a second, Katie. Thank you.